Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whenever you are in the world. Hi, I'm so glad everyone is here with Finessed Media. You could have been any Mary Grace Lippy. Oh my gosh. Hey. Sorry, you just popped up right in the middle of my screen. But you could have been anywhere. And I'm so glad you came to spend the afternoon or morning or evening here with us. Today, we have a really special conversation, one that I'm excited about. But before we get into that, I'm going to introduce or have y'all introduce yourselves in the audience to see who we have here. So if I call on you, can you tell us your name, what you do, and what fandom are you in? If you can see this, you kind of know what fandom I'm in, right? All right, so first person I'm going to pick on is Roxanne Chan. Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm Roxanne. I'm from Singapore, but I live in Australia. I'm a student and an aspiring mixing engineer, and my fandom is S501, Hui Ong Seng and Kim Kyu Jong.
I love it. Yes, thank you so much for being here. Wow, what time is it for you?
It is currently 1:33 a.m.
The dedication. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Helix, hi. That's a cool name.
Hi, I'm Helix. I am in Boston, Massachusetts currently. I'm a film student and I am very, very multi-fandom.
Mhm.
My ultimate group is B2B, so I'm a huge Melody.
I love it. Okay, thank you so much for being here. Ella Brandt. Hi, how are you?
Hi. Yeah, I'm Ella. I live in the UK. I'm English. I am currently a project executive at a consultancy company. But in my spare time, I do music. I'm a singer and a songwriter. And my ultimate, again, I'm quite multi-stan, I suppose, but my ultimate favorite group is NCT, because there's a million of them apparently.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah, exactly.
Leani, hi, how are you?
Good morning, and nice job on the pronunciation.
Yay.
Not a lot of people get that right on the jump. So,
I love it.
So hello, my name's Leani. I'm in Los Angeles, born and raised. I'm an administrative professional looking to get into event operations or event insights. To be completely honest, I'm definitely a newbie to the K-pop scene, but I can definitely say one of my favorite songs has definitely been from Big Bang, Throwing It Back. And I'm really happy to be here. This is going to be a really cool event. I'm very excited.
Oh, I'm so happy you're excited. And we love newbie. So thank you for being here.
Yes.
What about Marianne? Ooh, Marianne Talks. I'm going to not butcher your last name.
Hi,
Hey.
my name is Maureen, and thank you so much for having me here. I graduated with a degree in comm media, but right now I do content creation. So I'm a K-pop reactor and vlogger. Maureen Talks on YouTube if anyone is curious. And my alt group, I'm multi-fandom, and my alt group is ATs. I love them.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for being here, Maureen.
Of course, thank you.
Yeah. Let's see, Emily Lembersky.
Hi, you got the name right, the last name. So thank you. My name's Emily. I'm from the DC area, and I am currently artist relations manager for a nonprofit called House to G. And my alt group is Stray Kids.
I love it. You're a stay. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here, Emily. Let's call in a few more people. Maya Spencer. Hey.
Hi, it's Maya Spencer.
Maya, awesome.
I'm currently in Atlanta, Georgia for an internship this summer, but I go to the University of Alabama and I'm an accounting major. But what I'm hoping to do is the furthest thing from that. I'm just really interested in fan engagement, and I'm a multi as well. There's not a single group that I won't like if you show them to me, but BTS is my old group.
Awesome. Maya, I also go to the University of Alabama, and I lived in Atlanta for a while as well. So let's connect after this, okay? Because I did not know that there were so many. And Mary Grace Libby also goes to UA, so we'll connect. Okay. Speaking of, thank you for being here. But speaking of Mary Grace, hello, Mary Grace. What's up?
Good to see everybody. Like Jordan said, I go to the University of Alabama, currently studying music administration, and I'm also involved with the K-pop cover dance group on campus, HallUA. Check us out. But really excited to be here. Really looking to get into fan engagement, kind of like Maya was saying, so we definitely have to talk. And really just put on live events wherever they are. So huge fan of K-pop. I really love TXT. They feed the 5 seconds of summer fan in my heart as well. So
I'm so glad you're here, Mary Grace. Thank you for being here. Let's call on a few more people. Rashanti Williams. Hi.
Hi, yeah, I'm Rashanti. I live in LA. I work as a casting executive at NBC. And I think my favorite groups are definitely NCT, ATEEZ, and 17.
I love it. Thank you so much for being here. And what about Odyme Odyme? Sorry, am I butchering that one? Odyme. Oh, we cannot hear you. I don't think your mic is connected. But we'll come back to you if you get that fixed. Yaba. Hey.
Hi, I'm Yaba. I go to Virginia Commonwealth University, and I'm majoring in international studies and mass comm, but I'm trying to divert from that and into the music industry, whether it be performing or working behind the scenes. I'm sort of a multi-stan, but two of my alts are EXO and Monster X.
You're a mom baby. I love Monster X. Yes. Okay. Well, thank you so much for being here. And you're also in the right place to learn about the music industry itself and today K-pop. So thank you for being here. And last person we'll call on Siete. Hello.
Hi, you pronounced it correctly. That's awesome. Hi, my name is Siete Savan. I recently graduated from Texas Southern in Houston last year, studying entertainment. So everything, communications, entertainment, media. I am a huge fan of BTS, and through them, I got into K-pop. So my favorite girl group is Stacy. And then I just like everybody else. They're all cool, but my favorites is BTS and of course Stacy. I think they're so cute and excellent. So I'm so excited to be here, and yes, thank you. Have a good one. Bye.
Oh, your excitement is making me excited. Okay. Well, thank y'all all for being here. That was our last person I'm going to introduce today. But please feel free to contact each other after the event is over. We have a contact sheet going around. I think Kayla's dropping that. So thank you so much, Kayla. And for now, I will first introduce myself. My name is Jordan Steele. I'm the events manager here at Finessed Media. So I curate and plan all these events for us. And I'm so excited to talk about this event, to talk about K-pop, because, I love music and K-pop. And my ult is BTS that y'all saw. So I will pass the mic to Isel, my co-host.
All right, thank you. I just want to say that you killed it with all those good pronunciation on the names, okay?
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Itzel. I'm a music journalist and events coordinator here at Finessed Media. Today, we've gathered here to talk all about K-pop, especially focusing on how you, the rising artists and professionals in the room, can get the different type of jobs in the K-pop field. So get your pen and paper ready, because our panelists will be dropping the real tea on what it's like working in K-pop. Now, at the end, you will be able to connect with them and other community members in our breakout rooms. So now let's introduce our panelists. With us today, we have Cierra Reeves.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Cierra. When Itzel,
thanks.
When Itzel introduces all of y'all, you can tell your old group as well.
So Cierra is a founder and editor-in-chief of KpopWise.com. For those who don't know, this is a K-pop and Asian entertainment news website. She has over 13 years of experience in in K-pop journalism over various media outlets, covering news and interviewing artists and professionals in the Asian entertainment industry. Now, hello, Cierra. You can say hi to everyone now.
Okay, hi everyone. Thanks for inviting me. I'm really honored that you would choose me to be on your panel. I hope that I can give some kind of value to someone today, and I hope we have some fun.
Yeah, thank you.
Your favorite group, Cierra?
My favorite group. Oh, okay. I've been in K-pop for like 17 years, and for some people, there's a lot of groups that I wouldn't. There's plenty of groups that if I see them, I would like them, of course. But my favorite group is called VIX. They debuted in 2012. I'm a Starlight. I don't know if there's that many of us around anymore, but yeah, that's my favorite group. I like B2B too. I heard someone say that. They're like brother groups.
We're so happy to have you here. Now
Thank
we
you.
also have Angela Lee, who's the founder of the Academy in Australia, which prides itself for being able to work with professional trainers, talent scouts, consultants from top Asian entertainment agencies. And that's not even the best part, because through connecting Australia to Asia, they open doors for budding young Australians with the dreams of becoming the next global artist. Hello, Angela. How are you?
Hi everybody. Thanks for having me. I'm from Australia as well. Hi, good morning. It's very early for us. But yeah, so I hope today I'll be able to share something that everyone could benefit out of it.
Oh, I'm sure you will. Thank you so much for joining us today. And next, we have Chuong, who's the CEO of global PR and promotion concert agency Sky 720. He has contracted and produced over 100 shows, including the first K-pop show in Dublin, the first Korean show in Brussels, and the biggest K-pop show in Moscow. Hello, Jen.
Hey, yeah, glad to be here. Mostly my work revolves around contracting K-pop concerts for the overseas market. For a long period of time, Europe was my main market when Europe was still relatively new to K-pop. And so I worked as a K-pop agent and produced K-pop tours. And I didn't realize we had to talk about our favorite groups. Someone just mentioned, but if I had to mention my two favorite groups, not strictly K-pop, but yeah, I'm a Black Rose. So shout out to the fans of the Rose and Woo-sung. And also I really like this the girl group Pixie. So shout out to my fellow Wingsies.
Oh, Angela, did you have a favorite group?
I'm gonna go greedy. So I have my favorite from FT Island. I'm not sure if any of you know about them. Tribe is a new group, and 17.
Oh yes, there's a carrot in here. Go ahead, Ital. Oh wait, it's me. So our next speaker is Cierra Reeves. Hello, Cierra. She's a founder and editor-in-chief of, that's the wrong person. Our third speaker is Chelcy Garrett. She's a co-founder and chief marketing officer of Konnect'd Entertainment, which is a very wholesome community and multimedia-based company looking to bridge the gap between the cultural divide. And Konnect'd aims to provide more opportunities for engagement through intercommunication and embracing different cultures and lifestyles to increase safe spaces and produce content for multicultural fans, and also to foster a better connection with the artists they love. Hi, hello, how are you?
Oh, great. Yeah, that was a mouthful. Sorry, I gave you so much to talk about. But yeah, that basically is what Konnect'd is we are, it's a female-run company. We're both multicultural. And so we wanted to make safe spaces, especially for people who are older fans, because there's not a lot of spaces for people who aren't under the age of like 21, 22 to kind of go and connect. So we put together a lot of different events, and we'll talk about those later, but different events and different things, giveaways, and we've built a large community on Discord for people to kind of connect and get together and grow together. Now my groups, I'm a multi through and through, but I'm an Agase first and foremost, so GOT7 fans, and a BTS fan. So I have a lot of groups on my list though.
I'm sure a lot of people here do as well. But if you have the time, you can go ahead and drop that Discord link in the chat. And Kayla, if you don't mind putting that in our contact sheet so everyone can see it. Thank you so much. And thank you, Chelcy, for being here. And our final speaker is Ashlee Mitchell. She is a writer, actor, and content creator with a passion for Black and Korean pop culture. She has over 200,000 followers on TikTok, y'all. Of course, I'm one of them. I get all the tea from her, and y'all should too. Her journalism work can be found in publications like Teen Vogue, Grammy.com, MTV News, and Days, where she's interviewed major acts like BTS, Rosé of Blackpink, 17, NCT, and so many other artists. The list actually goes on, y'all. So thank you for being here, Ashlee. She also doesn't just interview K-pop artists, by the way. She interviews so many other artists as well. Hey, Ashlee.
Hi. You can hear me, right?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Hi, guys. I'm actually in Chicago right now for Lala because I'm going to be working that. So if you don't follow me already, make sure you do because there's a surprise coming within the next few days. But so yeah, I was like, let me stop in before I have to go to Lala and work all day. But yeah, and my alt group, probably BTS, but also really like TXT, NCT, some other people. So.
I love it. Thank you so much for being here. And I will also be watching Hobie Palooza on Sunday. So yes. All right. So that was our final speaker. We have a really great lineup today. So now let's get into the meat of the conversation. My first question I'd like to ask all of y'all is what you do in the music industry and how did you specifically get started in K-pop? And I'll start with Cierra.
Hi everyone. So like I mentioned before, I have been a K-pop fan for like 17 years. So I guess I'm aging myself. I was like a senior in high school back then. And back then, K-pop wasn't so trendy in the United States. So if you were a K-pop fan, you were probably a K-pop fan by yourself. So it's cool and refreshing to see so many kids get into K-pop now, especially when BTS blew up in the West, and that was really fun to see that. Some of my friends that I made online, like on Twitter and all that, we were like the first people to start like this K-pop Twitter thing.
Wow.
And we were in solidarity back then. We would all vote for whatever K-pop artist would appear on MTV voting or whatever. Like if it was like Big Bang, everybody vote for Big Bang, or Anyway, so yes, I am a K-pop music journalist. That's not my full-time job. My full-time job is in marketing in a marketing agency, which is different from music. But so by day I work in marketing. At night I like to be a music journalist, and I run a website called KpopWise.com. I posted the link. And what we do is I like to focus on giving press coverage to groups that aren't as popular or well known. So for international fans to discover them and maybe look into their music and all that. But we also, we do news articles, we go to events, cover those, we do interviews with K-pop artists, of course. Also like producers and songwriters and those type of people. Yeah. And of course we post press releases that we receive from these agencies and all that. Yeah. And yeah, that's pretty much it for me right now. And I like to give a space for like people of color or LGBT writers. So most of my staff are, LGBT and people of color. And so I like to make a safe space for them. And I'm an older K-pop fan too. So if anybody older wants to write, you can contact me.
You heard that here first. Hit up Cierra if you want to write about K-pop artists. It'd be really fun, I think. And something you have in common with Chelcy and also Finessed Media, your team of, marginalized communities. Finessed Media is a women-ran company, and then Konnect'd is also a women-run company. So Chelcy, what about you? How did you get started and what do you do?
I got started by accident. It is complete accident. I was in college. Anything I had to do with schooling has nothing to do with any of the jobs I have now, Konnect'd or my full-time job. But I actually was homesick and fell into watching a Japanese drama on Netflix called Good Morning Call. And I did it as kind of like oh, this will be interesting to watch, like laughing, and no, it was addictive. And then I started watching Dream Night after that. If you're in the Gase, then you know that's GOT7's TV show that they did. And that got me into K-pop in general. And so there was something about the wholesomeness of K-pop and the way it felt when listening to it. I was like, oh, this is great. And I had nobody around me because of where I lived. Everybody was not into K-pop. And so I found an app called Amino and found people my age who like GOT7. And that's how me and my best friend, who's also my co-founder for Konnect'd, got in touch because we're like, hey, we can start doing stuff together and, enjoy it. And then I started going to concerts and getting like really immersed in K-pop and everything that was going on. And then started realizing that one, there was not a lot of spaces for people like me, especially older fans, because I did get into it when I was older. Two, a lot of these events were, for a better word of saying, run not the best way, where it wasn't fans first. Things at the events where I would have to like get people in line, help with VIP because there was nobody before the concert. And I'm just like, how come like this is a fans event for the fans, but nobody really cares about the fans? So we decided that we were going to do things a little differently and start doing events our own, make it more personal, make it not an arm and a leg to be able to pay for these events and be able to go to them. And we had our first event called Listen Live in New York, where we got local artists together. We actually, through our first event, everything was great. Then COVID hit, everything stopped, and we switched and had to take a different path. And that's how our communities were born with Discord. We started streaming old concerts, starting with like Shiny, EXO, BTS. We were putting them on Twitter or on Twitch. And then our community got started from there, where people started coming from different areas, different parts of the country, different parts of the world, just because it was a safe space to fan together. And so once we started the Discord, we're doing more stuff like that. And now that it's grown, we're doing like a weight loss challenge, just a safe space for people who didn't have the motivation to work out. So now every month we have a different challenge for people to help get them up and moving. We have a book club where people can go and read books together, and just all these different spaces. So our goal is to basically, especially with this Discord, is build a community where anybody can find a safe space within this community. No matter if it's a big group of people to travel, like we're going to Korea next year with about 40 different women, or if it's just for local events, going to concerts together, having meetups, having all of these different things. So we still do events and things like that. We had an after party in Chicago for Stray Kids, but we're also doing smaller things because we want to help people find their tribes and find their groups.
Wow, thank you for saying all of that. That's one thing that I found out about the K-pop community, is they're actually a community who like wants to do things together. I've seen a lot of groups form through BTS Army, so that's really cool. Thank you for even thinking of coming up with your company. So thank you again. And let's go to Jin. How about you? What do you do, and how did you get started in K-pop?
Hey, so what I do, I mostly drink coffee and smoke cigarettes. But aside from that, regarding work-wise, so yeah, I mentioned briefly before. No, most of my work revolves around the live music industry. So I book and contract K-pop concerts for the overseas concerts and tours, and I also produce the concerts and tours overseas. So far, for a large portion of my career, my main market was Europe. So I did most of the concerts in Europe. I would like to say I've done a range of sizes. I've done some like big concerts which are around like 10,000 capacity, like Stray Kids, and I've done also very I always love intimate concerts where the artist can be really intimate with the fans. Which are actually more smaller in capacity. And the most recent one, actually, the reason why I have that shirt is my most recent concert was Busan tour in Europe. We actually lost most of our luggage because of the flights, and yeah, I had to get a merch shirt just to have shirts. So, and how I got into K-pop. So I don't know if I can't really say I first got into K-pop before I started the industry. So I was working with different concerts where it involves American and British bands. And even myself, when I was 15, my first tour was just my tour, playing in a punk rock band.
Mm-hmm.
And then I really got into the idea because I'm Korean and I happen to live in different places. And I was always interested in the idea of exporting cultural content, and I think that's one way to kind of get the world closer. So I was always interested in that. And then I had an opportunity and I joined a company that was doing K-pop concerts overseas. And then so even when I joined, I wasn't really into K-pop, but then it just consumed me. After doing all these shows, I started screaming in my own concerts. And then I guess that's when I knew, oh, I guess I really like K-pop. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just happened.
Yeah, it just happened. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, we all have fallen down that rabbit hole, right? I know I have. Oh, thank you again for being here. And I did see that Woo-sung lost his luggage. I didn't know that everyone had lost their luggage. That's kind of scary, but glad you're okay. Now let's travel over to Australia and hit up Angela. So what do you do at the Academy and how did you get started in K-pop, working K-pop?
So the Academy started in 2016. We had a couple of years of investigation work prior to and establishing network. We started as with Kpop Bootcamp, and the objective was actually quite simple in the initial days. That was to actually provide a platform for talents in Australia to be scouted by agency. And the bootcamp itself is a very intensive week where they do live the life of a trainee. So it is dancing, singing, modeling, a photo shoot, language class, dormitory as well. So very intensive. That was the start of the bootcamp, and that was a very simple objective then. But we realized that beside having a chance to be scouted by agencies, it ended up also a few things. One was also for non-stereotype trainees or potential trainees to have a chance to live a life of a trainee. So what I meant is like currently the search criteria for being an idol or a K-pop trainee is very defined and somewhat I say limited, although we are expanding, but not many chances are available for the non-stereotype. So a lot of the other people would join the bootcamp to just try and live the life of a K-pop trainee and to have a taste of what it's like, and that become parts of their fandom as well, right? It's like, oh, I'm a fan now that I've gone through bootcamp. I kind of understand a little bit more the life of a K-pop trainee. But then there was another objective that came up. It was parents wanting their children to join the bootcamp so that they realize how hard it is to be a K-pop idol and then give up their dream after the bootcamp.
Oh no.
So there was it was very interesting how the bootcamp has developed that way. But yes, so that's our main product. So our flagship product is the Kpop Bootcamp. Due to COVID, we have to stop. But in 2019 was our last bootcamp, and that was done at Paju, at the Global K Center, where the original Produce 101 was filmed. So the bootcamp and the dormitory was actually where Produce 101 was actually held. So bootcamp trainees had a chance to see the same studio that Daniel Kang was in, for example. So they had a chance to experience Produce 101 site themselves.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I see that someone loves PD 101. So wow, everyone knows something here.
Yeah, and then compared to age-wise, Sierra, you're still younger than me. I started when a friend who was learning Korean. So I'm not sure how popular Korean language is in your university, but when I started, there was only 6 people in the class.
Wow, that's
because it wasn't popular. So there would be maybe 200 Japanese students compared to 6 Korean students.
Wow.
Yeah, and then so yeah, I was introduced to HOT and jet skis. So I gone a long way back.
Yeah. So thank you so much. And lastly, Ashlee, how did you get started writing also, but in working in K-pop?
Yeah, so I actually studied abroad in Korea in 2019 when I was a sophomore. And then when I got back, I was like, I need to find a way to like, I don't know, like be in the music industry somehow. So at first I was volunteering at K-pop concerts. So I did a VAV concert and a one team concert. And then the pandemic hit. So then I couldn't do concert volunteering anymore. So I was like researching ways. I used to see pictures of like journalists with K-pop idols, and I was already a good writer. So I started to, I applied to this online publication called The Craze. And I wrote there for about a month with my own column. And then when Black Lives Matter was like popping off on social media, there were some white K-pop journalists that were like, we want to help Black writers, yada, yada. So I hit some of them up and I kind of like sent them like some of my ideas, and they were like, oh, we think you should send this to Teen Vogue. So I emailed Teen Vogue with my idea and she accepted it. And then I just kept pitching like that whole summer. This was 2020. I just kept pitching the whole summer and picking stuff up. And so my first K-pop interview came out September 2020 with Taemin. And I just kept working with different artists. I worked with Taemin like 3-4 times before he went to the military. So I just kept going and building relationships. And I ended up doing BTS's first time Grammy nominee interview for the Grammys in March 2021. So yeah.
Awesome. You've all done so much. And anyone here who are aspiring journalists who specifically want to interview K-pop artists, you can learn so much from Ashlee and Cierra today. So I'm glad all y'all here. But now that we know a little bit about y'all's humble beginnings, I'd like to know just what has been your favorite project you've worked on so far. Jen, you want to start us off?
Oh, yeah, sure. Firstly, I hope it's not rude to say, but yeah, Ashlee, really enjoyed your interview with Stray Kids. So just want to mention. And yeah, other than that, yeah, so my favorite project, yeah, I don't want to sound so biased, but it definitely has to be the Rose. So I worked with the Rose when it was like since a few months since they debuted. And I believe when I contacted them, they had only one song, I believe Sorry, and 2 songs, Sorry and Like We Used To. Only those songs were out, and I contacted them. And the reason I really liked the Rose project, so I did their first foreign tour, and I did all of their European tours with a few other concerts abroad. But the main reason I think I enjoyed it was because I think because at that time that was one of the smaller concerts I did. And so the Rose of all the members were very intimate with the fans, and I thought it was really truly like fan driven. And the other thing is, I believe the Rose they didn't do that much promotion in Korea, but I felt them touring frequently abroad and really interacting with the fans in person helped them grow. And just to be involved with that project and also see there as coming from someone with a production background, seeing their production grow and grow, I think was pretty awesome. And I think I would like to say it has nothing to do with my biases, but yeah, I would like to say that as my favorite project.
And you can. Thank you so much. Big fan of the Rose here as well. So I'm excited to have you here. Cierra, what about you? What has been your favorite project you've worked on so far?
Well, there's so many projects that I like because they're all my babies that we work hard. But I guess most recently, the rookie group or super rookie group called Tempest. If anybody knows them, you can look up their music video called Bad News. I'm sure it has like 18 million views on it or whatever. I went to their online showcase, and then shortly after their debut, I was able to interview them and learn a little bit more about them. And I really enjoyed reading the fan reactions to the cute little things they said. Another favorite project of mine that I did before I started KpopWise is maybe like 5 years ago, where I think Ashlee mentioned VAV. Yeah, so I did work for them for another K-pop outlet. I'll say it was K-pop Stars, and I did a video interview with them, and I did the translation. Well, I didn't translate it myself. They translated it, but I put subs on the video, and that took a long time. So yeah, it's a lot of grunt work when you're like a kind of like an independent. But yeah.
Right.
So I enjoyed that. Then they sent like albums, and they wrote like a personal message on the album for me, and then I had a giveaway for the albums. That's what I miss about K-pop companies. They don't really send out albums anymore. Well, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just KpopWise. We don't get albums with our interviews. I have to work on that.
Chelcy agrees with you. Angela, what about you? What has been your favorite project you've worked on?
Definitely 2019 bootcamp, because having to deliver a bootcamp for 102, so that was the largest contingent of trainees for us, and that was definitely very, very challenging but interesting. So we had to fly everybody into Seoul, and then from Incheon airport get everybody to Paju, and making sure that all under 18s don't wander around and leave the camp. So that was a very challenging time, but definitely one of the most memorable one. And also for, I don't know if you know choreographer Choi Yong-jun, 17 choreographer. Mainly he does a lot of produce 101 and 17 choreographer. So we had him as a surprise guest for our surprise trainer for our bootcamp training. So, and plus we gave him a bit of a birthday splash as well. So that was a good time.
I love it. That's so
and
awesome.
The cold, yes. Paju is really, really cold in December.
Gotcha. May I ask, what's the age range for your bootcamp?
We start from 11 and a half. So our youngest is 11 and a half international age. And the oldest bootcamp trainee is 37.
37?
Yep,
Oh,
37.
okay. Gotcha. Chelcy, what about you? What's your favorite project you've worked on so far?
Mine's going to be mixed. Probably our last one, which was our first big fan event we did, which was our Stray Kids after party, where we had baggies for them of like custom photo cards, bracelets. We were doing album giveaways. It was kind of just a fun event where people who were older can go. We had custom drinks for everybody. So like we had 21 and plus up drinks, but they were like the red light was actually in a red light bulb that lit up. We had different shots. So it was like a fun event for older fans to have a place to go. Or our 25 days of Christmas giveaways. And the reason I like that so much is because we understand that not everybody can afford to get merch. And a lot of the times the way that they win this merch is by going on Twitter and doing giveaways or things like that. So we will do 25 days starting from the first day up until Christmas in December, giving away a different merch thing for each group. So we'll do like light sticks or albums or clothing or something because we want to be able to give back to people who might not be able to get it any other way. So those are kind of my two favorite ones we've done so far.
I love when people do things for the community, and I love a good giveaway as well. Kudos to y'all. Kudos to y'all. And Ashlee, what about you? What's been your favorite project?
So I can't pick just one. I always mention the BTS one just because that was like the big story. But I also have like personally like my second Taemin interview. I really like that because it was like we like got on the call like an hour before Never Gonna Dance Again Act 2 was supposed to drop, and like he was like in the best mood I've ever seen him in. So that is that one. I also just really like how that article came out. And then also recently I had a call with Hypen, and me and Jake just like really connected. It was like a big thing. That was for the Grammys. So that one I really like. And then also I really loved when I like working with like solo artists a lot, because I feel like you really get to know the idols. So when it was Rosé's solo debut, that was a really special time for her. And it was really nice talking to her and just seeing like where her head was at. But I think my favorite story is going to be the one from this weekend, which I'm still keeping under wraps, but you guys will know. This Lalo thing I'm really excited about, but you guys will know soon more details. So
make sure y'all follow her to get all the deets, okay guys? All right, so y'all worked on so many great things already. Like literally you've met artists, you've got to produce events for them, produce community events as well. And I'm sure a lot of our audience has this question: how can someone like me or us who is from the US and interested in working in the music business get into the K-pop industry? And y'all all have like a different like way of that you got there. So Cierra and Chelcy, what about you? How would you answer that question? Whatever, who can ever go first?
Well, I guess I'll go first. Well, okay, if you take me for example, like I live in Georgia in the United States, and not even near Atlanta, where there's a buzzing music industry, or a lot of Korean people actually live there. But I live in Georgia. But so online, I spent a lot of time online over the years, and I, as a writer, I started a blog. Well, I think it's around 2009. I co-founded like a blog forum with another person, and it was an international music website. So it was just music from everywhere, and we would invite people to, if they're like an artist or a dancer or something, we would interview them, and then we would put it on our website and our forum and stuff like that. So that's kind of how I got started with the interview process way back, and I did interview some Korean artists back then too. Even like Brian Ju from Fly to the Sky, I think was way back. So yeah, we had that blog, and then eventually I was contacted by the now defunct Drama Fever. If anybody remembers them, they used to have streaming of Korean dramas and all that. And they asked me to write news for their news portion of the website. So I did that for a few years. And then eventually I was still in college back then. So I just eventually moved on to other K-pop outlets, writing for them, like K-pop Stars or Moon Rock, and it just a handful of those. And then eventually I took some time off to finish my studies in grad school and all that. And then after that, after I finished grad school, I had a little time on my hands. So I said, how about I start my own K-pop website? I've been doing this for years. I know how it runs. I see what they've done and how they do it. I see what I don't like and what I do like. So I just learned from that, and then I just created my own thing. So I focus on building some kind of like what's the word I want to say? No, just give it a little bit of clout or whatever. Just working for months, trying to build it up. And then you're right. And then eventually I was like, let's see if I can get some like Korean artists interviews on here too. So I remember the first thing I do is like, well, I can't speak Korean, so what am I going to do, right? So I looked for a Korean artist that I knew spoke English, right? And his name, he worked with Brown Eyed Girls Guyan in the past, and I just really liked his music. His name's Cho Hung Woo. I hope I'm not butchering his name. Anyway, I knew he was really nice, had a great personality, so I just messaged him on either his email or his Instagram, and he agreed to the interview. So that was KpopWise's first interview. And from there, you have an example of what you can do for artists, right? So I was like, maybe I can interview a group next time. So I messaged a group. Maybe I think it was Great Guys. Is that their second interview? Maybe. If anybody knows Great Guys, I think I contacted their CEO directly because I thought he was a nice guy and how he cared about their group. So I messaged him on Instagram and I was like, can I interview your group? Blah blah blah. And then I gave an example. I showed the example of what I did with Chohongwoo, and then he was like, sure. And then he recorded a video of the guys answering their questions. And then I was like, oh, I can't speak Korean. I need to get somebody to translate this. So I hired a translator off of like Upwork, and there was a nice young Korean guy, college student. He translated the video for me, and then I subbed it, put it out there. We have a new interview coming up with them soon because they just released a new album. But anyway, like I'm saying, like if you just start small, that's my advice. Just start your own writing, and then you have a portfolio to show other people.
Right. Yeah. So for all of our writers in here, you can literally start your own, I wouldn't say company, but like start your own like portfolio.
Yeah, just a blog or something, or just working for small outlets.
Put yourself out there, guys. And Chelcy, what about you? How would you answer that question?
I'm very much with Cierra with kind of, you could start small and work your way up with like blogs or things like that. Because we have an interview series called Just Want to Connect. And I think our first interview was with Kachi. If you guys remember Kachi when they were promoting and doing everything at their peak. And so now we have as our example, when we reach out to other artists, here's what we've done. And we have 4 or 5 interviews now on the line that are supposed to be coming out within these next few weeks. So that is an option if you guys want to start small. Blog writing is great because they'll ask you for something to look back at. Or if you're a photographer and you want to do concert photography, like for me, I'll go to concerts and do that. But I also want some in the West Coast. So I am now looking for photographers who will work for our company, who will go and take pictures, get into the event for free, will take pictures and write up. So you can look for these smaller companies who might be needing assistance to help grow, because sometimes they need help for their team, and that's a great way of getting in. But our biggest thing for Konnect'd was kind of doing it ourselves. We saw an issue with how events were run. And so that's why we did our first Listen on Live event, where we hadn't done events before. This was our first time doing it, but we had our plan written out. We knew exactly what we wanted to do. We knew exactly the theme. We had the artists that we wanted. So we reached out to all of them or their managers directly through social media, through their websites, things like that, and pitched them what the idea we wanted. And of course, our first one, we were putting all of our money in. So we couldn't pay them to perform, but we could pay for their accommodations, for their flights there. And then the money we got back from the tickets, I was able to go to anything for the event. So if there's something that you really want to do, plan it out to the T. Everything you can think of, have a good pitch for it, and pitch people, and you will find somebody who will bite. But then again, getting in volunteering for these companies, especially like Sub K when they do things, or Studio PAV when they do things, they'll look for volunteers. Just having that experience on your thing, even though it wasn't working experience where you were getting paid, but that volunteer work shows that you have an interest in what you're doing. It shows that you can follow through with going and volunteering and doing everything, and you're building your belt. So when it does come time for you to apply for a job, even if it's like, oh, this was volunteer work, it might have been volunteer work, but I have X, Y, and Z compared to somebody who might have gotten a degree in this area but has never done anything. That experience is going to be worth a lot. So put in the footwork, get that volunteer work in. If you're a writer, just write. Start a blog and write as much as you can, because that portfolio will be great for you. And pitch smaller companies, because even though everybody's dream is to work for these big companies like Live Nation and things like that, that's great. But if you can't get there to start with, start at these smaller companies and build your resume for what you can be doing.
Exactly, 100% agree with that. And I think something in common that we can find from Cierra and Chelcy's answer is, well, to start small, but also to create your own opportunities. Like, guys, if you really want to do something in the music industry, just go for it. Do outreach, send that email. You really don't know like what to expect. The no, it's already guaranteed. So just look for the yes. It's really, like, when you receive it, it's really, really good for you.
And the worst you can hear is them tell you no. And it's like, okay, cool, on to the next one.
Exactly. Just keep trying. Don't give up.
Or nothing at all.
Yeah. Sure.
I get a lot of nothings, but
all right.
Okay. Well, just move on to the next.
We love rejection. Yes.
Now, for our rising artists in the room, I would like to know, I mean, with your experiences working in the music business side of things, how do you think artists can leverage their career to stand out? Jean, I would really like to know what you think on this one.
Wow, I think this is a hard question. I'll try my best. But this is something that I can't say it's even limited to K-pop, but I think often I find this aspect of K-pop doing relatively less. I think in my opinion, I think more artists should tap into let's say a greater certain emotion or certain cultural stances. I mean, I think a lot of times when you just look at, for example, let's go with music, because it was a thing that started from the 50s. A lot of the like legends that we see today tapped into a certain emotion or atmosphere. I think, for example, Beach Boys, about just Surfing USA was at the height of Pax Americana. U2, they talk about peace a lot, and this was during a time, 9/11, it was a shock for a lot of people, not just people in the USA. And I think BTS also did a great job, talking about like loving yourself, which I think is a message that resonates with a lot of fans. And personally, I really like this, not even just as a business strategy, but I personally really like this when you can tap into a certain emotion or a message that really resonates with the people. And I would love to see more K-pop artists doing this and showing their stances on it. So it's partly, I think it will be a good business strategy, and partly I think it will be a stronger bond with the fans and with the society overall, and being somewhat responsible with such a platform.
Wow, okay, I wasn't really expecting that answer. I absolutely loved it. And also I feel like in that way, it will be having like a more impactful sense in all of the people, like artists.
Yeah.
So now, Ashlee, I would like to know, what are you thinking?
I think artists should tap into social media more. I feel like a lot of artists don't. Like, I got a friend named Rapaya. She's also like an up and coming singer. She sings in Korean sometimes, and she saw a big difference when she finally like posted on TikTok. And like, even if it wasn't necessarily music related, I feel like people like Pink Panther is, Lil Nas X, like people that understand fandoms and understand how to engage with fans and build those relationships are the people that I see most successful. And I think like that's also, I see that with American artists as well. Like Halsey used to be a 1D fangirl, like people that are able to understand fans and like put fans first and like make fans feel special. Like, and I think that's something that like a lot of K-pop groups do well, is like, that's why they do fan signs. They, do their live streams, like really feel like they're building like a parasocial relationship with their fans. And like, that makes all the difference.
Yeah, 100%. You read my mind, and I do have something to say about that. But before I do, I would like to give the mic to Angela to hear her answer.
I'm probably not the best person to reply regarding artist promotion, because that isn't our business main area. But in terms of trainings and audience, that's all kind of our more business area. So we're more focused on the early days before you get to becoming popular, and so we're more in the what do you call, the A&R space.
Mm-hmm. No, that's totally all right. And thank you for your answer. Now, something that Ashlee said that really resonated with me is that I find myself, and I'm sure a lot of the people in this room, connecting more with my artists when they openly say who they are fans of. Like, that just makes me so excited and wants me to learn more about these people, which brings me to my other question, because I would like to know how this works in K-pop. Like, how do you see K-pop fans changing the music industry? Because it's a huge movement. Chelcy, can you take this one?
So how is it changing with K-pop fans in the industry? K-pop fans run how things work. Let's be real. It's kind of scary. Yeah. But when fans are trying to make changes, especially when it comes to like donations for movements or for things like that, artists will listen to their fans and be like, oh, I hear you. Like when Black Lives Matter, when it was a big big thing and fans are pushing for it, a lot more groups came out and were like, oh, here's our donations towards this because our fans are so passionate about this. Even though, yes, the groups are passionate about this as well, but I really feel like it was from the fans putting so much effort into it that the groups were listening. The companies will try to appease K-pop fans in general for what they do. So if fans really want something and they make a movement towards it, they kind of have all the power in the situation, be it good or bad. The fans are normally the ones with the power with how things run. So when they talk to the fandoms, when things happen, it normally is what the changes will happen. Now, it's like I said, it's a good thing and it's a bad thing because it could be on both sides of that line for what they're pushing for. But when change needs to happen, like if there is cultural appropriation issues or things like that, and the fans talk about it, normally it's the outcry from the fans that will have the companies being, okay, we need to talk about this. So it's that statement. With a lot of power comes great responsibility from Spider-Man. That's basically how I feel about K-pop.
I love that statement. And Cierra, what do you think?
Yes. Yeah, so in terms of how they can change the music industry as a whole, like in the West too, with their K-pop artists, like Chelcy said, K-pop fans run everything, right? And so even the general public who don't know K-pop, really, they know what a K-pop fan is, whether it's good or bad. They know, and that includes like Western companies and big publications like Vogue or Rolling Stone or BuzzFeed. They all know what K-pop is, and BuzzFeed even has a section or a newsletter dedicated to K-pop, right? And hell, even Good Housekeeping knows what K-pop is, and they had like Monster X do a feature on there, which I thought was a weird mix, but I get it. I guess housewives would like to see Monster X. They're very handsome. Or maybe they are into them, but they're aware of it, right? So K-pop has become more mainstream because of the fans, because the companies know they can get that good fan engagement, and that gives their publication like good analytics or whatever. So another thing, like K-pop fans help their music chart on Billboard and all that, so they're right up there in the ranks. We're next to like Harry Styles or Taylor Swift or whoever. So it's blending, they're holding hands. It's almost like no distinction between K-pop and Western pop these days when it comes to music charts. And even like shows like the Kelly Clarkson show or the Late Night Show are becoming like Korean music shows now. You can see like Twice or BTS or Stray Kids performing on TV during the day or at night. And I like to joke and say like, oh, they turned Kelly Clarkson into Inkigayo. I mean, if Inkigayo is like a Korean music show where Korean artists go to perform their new songs for people who don't know what K-pop is. And you can search it on YouTube. They always upload.
True. You can find everything on YouTube.
Right. That's how I found K-pop on YouTube. Before that, I was a J-rock fan, like J-pop.
Yeah, it's really admirable what fans have become in everything they can do. So now I would like to take this to international waters a little bit. So I want to know, how has the K-pop industry moved into Australia? Like, what do you see it growing into in the future, Angela?
For a very small population in Australia, there's only about 25 million of us, I think. We actually got a good percentage of fans based on our main fan page. There's a particular TV channel that has a Facebook page, and there's about 1.5 million. So I would say that the representation is actually quite high if you leave out the young and the seniors and kind of just have the in-between populations. So I see it growing, and definitely the community is growing exponentially as the younger ones start to join K-pop, and of course having more K-pop idols from Australia, that really helps with the populations knowing and wanting to be part of the K-pop community or be part of the K-pop industry. We're lucky to have New Jeans member So one of the members from Australia, from Melbourne. So she was in the K-pop community, and then of course we have Stray Kids, so they definitely help push as well. So yeah. So I see that the growth would definitely get. Well, I mean, it wouldn't go exponentially, but certainly there's a growth in Australia.
We love to see that.
Yes, I love how K-pop is already, and it continues to become worldwide known and just popular in general. It's really fun to see how it grows over the years. Before our last question of this discussion portion, I'd like to ask each of you, what piece of advice would you give our audience of aspiring artists and music business professionals in here looking to work in the K-pop industry and the music industry in general? Ashlee, would you like to start?
Yeah, I would just say to not listen to anybody. Like when I was first starting off, I feel like people, like I would ask for advice, would be like, oh, well, it took me about a year before I was able to like start pitching to people, and I'm like, okay, well, that timeline doesn't work for me, so I'm gonna do it this way. I feel like sometimes people will like project whatever they had to struggle with onto you and like try to gatekeep, and you have to learn to kind of like, yes, take people's advice if it's genuine, but also like, no, like this is what I'm capable of and this is what I'm going to do. And that's how it works out. And like, I've had some people be like, well, I remember one of the women I asked for advice before was like, I'm going to be honest, I'm surprised that you got access to Taemin that quickly. And I'm like, well, yeah, because I don't listen to people. And I think that's important. And also just like not being afraid of rejection, not being afraid to like be the first person to do something. Like it doesn't matter if like I was still in college, I was a sophomore, I had no journalism classes, like I wasn't a journalism major, so like I didn't see an example of anybody doing what I was doing, but I did it anyways. And then even with my TikTok, like I remember I was like, I want to promote my articles on TikTok, but nobody else was doing that. And I remember asking a friend and they were like, well, I don't really think TikTok is the place for that. So then I made it the place for that because I'm like, okay, if no one's doing it, then maybe I can be the person that's doing that. So yeah, you just have to have your own mind, be independent, and like, don't be afraid to try things.
Make your own waves, guys. Make your own waves. Jen, what about you?
I think I think like quite similar to what Ashlee said, I think a lot of times I think you have to always listen to others, but take it with a grain of salt. And ultimately, I would like to say, I think this is applicable to anything, but I feel like a lot of people, when they have a goal, they look at their surroundings and realities and then choose a goal that fits that, Instead, I feel like you should choose a goal and see how you can use your realities and your surrounding to reach that goal. I think that way of thinking just opens you up a lot more doors, because if you just look at your surroundings and determine, you'll be lowering yourself. But if you choose a goal and see how your realities and surroundings can fit that goal, you'll be able to build up. So I would like to, I think that would be applicable to anything, but yeah, except for my diet, but yes.
Yes, absolutely. And Chelcy, how about you?
I think I'm gonna go with making your own space if you can't fit into a space yourself. There's a lot of spaces working for companies and things that you could do. But like me and my co-founder, we never wanted to work for other people. If we're going to do something, we're going to dream big and we're going to do it completely. So even if everybody around you is telling you, well, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Oh, well, maybe you should try. Like Ashlee said, don't listen to them and do what you want to do, because in the end, it's your life to live. And if this is what you want to do, then you will make it happen if you want to. So if you have to make your own space, make your own space. If you have to take baby steps by volunteering, just set a plan and know that the route there is going to change, but you can still get there, even if you have to make it yourself.
Don't be afraid of winding roads, guys. They're okay. And Angelo, how about you?
Oh, I think I have a very different path to getting to where I am today. Traditionally, entertainment or pursuing a career in the entertainment industry isn't something that is encouraged, I say, in my culture. So I actually work in the bank for about 10 plus years, and I built myself. There was a clear target that bank isn't for me, so I built a little bit of a wealth just to get ready to jump into starting my own company and doing this. So that my path wasn't a straight, get into the music industry, entertainment industry. I actually have to go via the fact that I may not work in the industry that I like, but I do well in it, get enough financial foundation in life, and then move on to something that I like later on in life. It works for me. So the financial stability plus now I can do something that I actually have a passion for. So that's my path. Not necessarily the most encouraged path or the most motivational path. You won't get me on TED Talk because I'll be like the traditional Asian type of mom and go, you know what, finish your degree and then just get a good job in the bank or whatever, and then we'll start talking later. So that would be my kind of encouragement. So which is why even when we set up businesses, we set it up with a go of, hey, from a parent perspective, what would they think about their children entering this industry, right? A lot of them, to be honest, 99% of the parents would not encourage their children to become an idol. So we do have to set up programs to make sure that the children can try, but yet they need to have their education covered. So that's a fine balance, because a lot of people will say that when we run program, our consumer is the participants or the aspiring K-pop trainees, but when it comes to crunch time, because we're dealing with minors, the real consumer here are the parents. That's the people who need guidance. And there are a lot of minors that would have faced the same challenge when you tell your parents, like, hey, I'm not going to do this, I'm going to try and go into music. Oh, sure.
Yes. I can hear that from you. Yes. So our last person, Cierra, what piece of advice would you give?
Okay, and like Angela was saying, I guess I'm from that generation where it's like, oh, make sure you have a safety net. But also, I can see like Ashlee's point of view. It's like, don't wait, just start. So I still say kind of have a safety net, but also like Ashlee, like if you're still in college, you're still in school, it's like start, if you want to be a writer, start writing, and build up your portfolio and all of that. Also, if I know it's a lot of people want to actually work in Korea for the K-pop industry, so I'm thinking, well, you need to start learning and practicing Korean. That's rich of me to say because I've been a K-pop fan for 17 years and I barely know basic Korean, but start learning Korean so then you can like move there and get that visa and start working in those companies and have visibility as a foreigner in Korea, so you can maybe give them like advice of what works in the West, and all that, or cultural sensitivities and stuff like that. With that, I'm sure they need more of that. And also, network, of course, and LinkedIn is a great place to network. And there's a couple of groups I know myself and Angela are a part of called Kpop Konnect'd and Hallsung. They're both full of people who are looking to break into the K-pop industry in some way. Whether it be like writing or tour managing and stuff, things like that. So I'll post those links somewhere, and then you can join them if you're on LinkedIn.
Right. Yes, I just joined Konnect'd and it's really good. I'm really glad I'm part of it now. And just backing up what Angela said as well, it's okay to have a 9-to-5, what we have here in US, 9-to-5 job. And then your 5 to 9 is your music. So it's okay. Gain some stability first. So thank you again. That was the end of our discussion portion. Thank you, Jen, Ashlee, Chelcy, Cierra, and Angela for your wonderful input on how it's like working in K-pop and all the opportunities that people can aspire to be in. Now I want to check on the audience. If you have learned something today, please unmute yourself where we had fun and give us a little woo woo, because that's what we do here at Finessed Media. Woo, 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 woo. Thank you. All right, we're going to move into our breakout rooms where you can talk to our panelists in a little more intimate setting. There are some questions that you have. We'll have Angela, Jen, and Chelcy in one room, and then we'll have Cierra and Ashlee together. And you can choose which room you go into. So Mia, are our rooms ready?
Yes, I'll be opening them now.
All right.
Okay. So, breakout room 1, just so everyone knows, we'll have Ashlee and Cierra, and then Jen, Chelcy, and Angela will be in breakout room 2.
All right. You can join. If you don't know how to, just unmute yourself and we'll get you situated.
Could you restate who's in which room?
Yeah, no problem. So breakout room 1 will have Ashlee and Cierra, and then breakout room 2 will have Jen, Chelcy, and Angela.
Thank you.
No problem.
We'll be in these rooms for about 10, 12 minutes.
Be fine.
I joined it.
Oh, hey, Nikki, what's up?
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, just trying to figure out how to join this breakout room.
No problem. Which room did you want to get into?
Room 1.
Okay, let's see. Okay.
Pizza, can you join room 1 and I'll join room 2?
Yeah, that works.
Which one did you want to join a specific one?
Whichever, it's fine. I love the people we have right now.
Okay, I'll do room 2 and you can join room.
Okay.
Making sure everyone can get in there. And yeah, we'll come back here at 12 or 1. It's the 25-minute mark.
No problem. So I'll send like a 5-minute warning.
Okay.
And then a 1 minute, but yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna go into room 2.
Okay.
All right. I'll go to 1.
Okay, so